What's up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav show on the JP and Trav YouTube channel. As always, it's your host with the most, JP. And to my right, I have my esteemed co-host, brother, and friend, Travis J. Davidson. Travis, how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm really good. January is flying by. I
Dang.
mean, it's uh, it's already the 25th. This is crazy. I got a birthday coming up in like 3 weeks. No, 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks. Um, Turning 35. I'm getting old, man. Getting old. Don't never get old for the
Man,
bird.
35. You don't look a
I
day.
know. I know. So, um, yeah, and that's the thing, right? January flies by. We're talking transfer portal. Pretty soon we'll be talking spring ball. I mean, it comes at you fast, right? I mean, you talk about, you know, we're basically in February. February is basically March. March Madness coming up.
Yep,
Like basketball's almost over. Like
yep.
it's just crazy to me. Luckily, we've got some diamond sports starting up. Obviously, women's gymnastics getting going. Really exciting time in the fall around or in the spring around Norman. So, yeah, just a little calendar breakdown for you there on the intro.
Absolutely, absolutely. And guys, we're glad to be back. Sorry about last week. That's my fault. I had a away game, hour and 20 minutes away, and unfortunately, we went a little bit too late into the night, and I was driving back, driving our bus back, and I just wasn't going to be able to make it. So I'm glad to be back with y'all this week. I know both of us are. Obviously, nice to have a little bit of a break. Obviously, in a slower cycle, but we got plenty to talk about this week, Trav. Namely, obviously, getting into some non-football related things like OU basketball. Obviously, OU basketball's had a good start to the season, ranked in the top 25, much more talented than they were last year. But I think the other night left some sour taste in people's mouths. Not about the whole season, but certainly, you build up the anticipation to get people into the LNC, which we know is a very hard thing to do. And the boys kind of came out and laid an egg, if you will, in front of a raucous crowd. So let's talk a little bit about that. Were you at the game?
No, I didn't make it down for that one. We've got 2024 has started off very busy for Audience Rent, which is great, but it makes it tough just run down to Norman whenever I want. I'll still be making it to some games and whatnot. Don't get me wrong. I'll be at baseball, be at all that. But yeah, I didn't make it, but I feel like I'm the only one that didn't make it, man. The place was packed for a Tuesday 6 o'clock game. It was a bad day to have a bad day.
Yeah.
And that's what stinks. I mean, didn't shoot the ball particularly well, obviously. I mean, that was the difference in the game, right? It was really what it came down to, I thought, was we couldn't get stops anymore, and we rely so much on transition offense. If you look at the first half, we outscored them 14-4 on transition buckets. You remember the Jalen Moore dunks.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Owe getting loose. You remember JV McCollum and his speed getting down there and getting the foul.
Yeah.
It seemed like every time you looked up, OU was running the other way with the ball. And that's what Porter talks about, man, this team's athletic. This team's athletic. This team's athletic. Like, that's where that athleticism comes in because they can outrun everybody for the most part. They can get up, they can challenge at the rim. And what happened in the second half is Texas started making everything,
Yeah.
and you can't get fast break points if you're consistently pulling the ball out of the net and taking it out of bounds. So, like, when you get out rebounded as badly as they did, when the big guys get in foul trouble, when Godwin is in this funk where I don't know if it's confidence or what, but he's had a rough 3 games, man. After having a really good game against Iowa State, and Iowa State's extremely physical in the paint. They've got some dudes, some big dudes.
Yeah.
And he had 10 points, I think 3 offensive rebounds, 3 defensive rebounds. I think he had 3 or 4 blocks. Like, he was on it against Iowa State. And I thought that was going to be the window into, what to expect from Sam Godwin. in this really big, heavy league. And I don't know if it's conditioning. I know he had dealt with COVID in the past. I don't know if he's not fully back. Maybe he's just getting fatigued easily. He's still using his hands a lot, so he's fouling.
Yeah.
It's just he had 0 rebounds, and you can't have a guy that was leading the country at one point this season in offensive rebounds. You can't have him get 0 rebounds in that big of a game when you're missing that many shots. And I think that's what a lot of people say that's why Wemby has so many offensive rebounds, is because the Spurs are so bad that they miss all their shots, and Wemby's able to clean it up. And that's why Chet doesn't, is because we're the best shooting team in the NBA. But I digress. I don't think we can hit the panic button. We need to play well against Texas Tech. We just need to make shots. When you have Lo Suzanne and J.V. McCollum, who are your engines of that offense, when they combine to go 7 for 23, J.V. McCollum's, your best volume 3-point shooter. He's supposed to be your answer for Max Abmas. Yeah. And he goes 1 of 6 from 3. Yeah. Can't have it. He's not good enough defensively, like on ball, to go 1 for 6 from 3. Can't have it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, when you bring a guy like that in, you expect him to match some of these teams. Obviously, I know that Texas hasn't been having the greatest year, as good of a year as they did last year, but nonetheless, as we know, the Big 12 is crazy, and anything can happen in rivalry games. And Baylor obviously, Texas obviously had just beaten Baylor after the whole. I forgot who they lost to. That Rodney was tripping about the horns down.
UCF,
yeah, bad.
Lee Davis is incredibly lucky for basketball, I guess, because she showed up and they beat Kansas, and then they beat Texas. And I'm like, golly,
hey.
No pun intended.
golly, yeah, but yeah, you have to be able to match firepower when you have players like that around, and that just is going to happen in some games. You hope it doesn't become a pattern, and it doesn't seem like it has with this team this year. I know in previous years we seem to see the teams build patterns, and that's who they are, and that's who they became. I don't think that's necessarily who this team is, though. Obviously, again, you hate to see, as some people on Twitter put it, a wasted crowd. But I don't think that's any reason for fans to not come back to the LNC, because generally this team has shown that they play well together. They're fun to watch. J.V. McCollum's fun to watch. Otega always fun to watch. And that, they're going to be a team that can make some noise come March.
Yeah, well, and that's what's. I'm glad you brought up the crowd. The crowd was great. They were active. The student section was great. But I'll say this. There are 100 teams that are worse than OU that sell out every night.
Yeah.
Or that are full every night. And some have smaller stadiums, I get it. But there are a lot of teams that get really excited about their basketball program that are not having the current success that Oklahoma does. So Oklahoma fans, we finally get full and we play poorly. There are dozens of other teams that all they do is play poorly, and yet all their fans just show up anyways because they want to support their team.
Yeah.
And I've always said OU fans are very spoiled because many OU fans were brought into their fanhood by a football team that was winning championships.
Yep. And
it's that the basketball program is the best basketball program that has not won a national championship. That's the way Tyler puts it. I think it's accurate.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to me that Porter has to beg the students to show up. And then when they do show up, not all of them, but there is a certain sense of, really? I showed up to support this team and this is what you give me? I'm not coming back. What? It's just it feels a lot like another discussion we're having. NIL, right?
Yes.
You know who's raising a ton of money in NIL? Missouri. Ain't never won crap.
Mississippi.
Ole Miss ain't never won crap.
Poor state in this country.
Right. A&M ain't never won crap. All these teams that have dusty, empty trophy cases are loading up on NIL. You know why? Is because they're chasing something. They're chasing a feeling that we have had.
Yep.
And we expect to have. And that's what I mean, that's why I think some people see that and they're like, well, why is it that school can, raise money and do this, but, we can't? Because there are a lot of OU fans that just think, we're OU, we don't need money.
Yep.
Well, that's true in some ways, but we still need it. Like, it's just interesting. So I think in general, while OU has one of the largest fan bases in the country, I think a portion of them, a larger portion here than at other schools, expects their team to win titles because that's what brought them into the fan base.
Yeah.
And you go to other schools and they're just losing their mind. Texas A&M, we can call them a cult all they want. They put 100,000 people at Kyle Field all the time, and they never won nothing.
Yep.
Like, you've got Providence basketball, who packs out a stadium every night that's bigger than the LNC.
Yep.
And we've talked about, man, we've really wasted the 2 opportunities we've been full in the last 2 years. Bedlam last year, Texas this year. We've wasted those opportunities for the 2 times we've been full in like 20 opportunities. So I know that mini rant isn't going to be well received, but it's one of those things. It's just OU fans demand that the product is at a very high level in order for them to show up consistently when other schools simply do not. And I'm trying to kind of talk through, even to myself, what the reasoning might be. And I think that's probably it.
Yeah.
So anyway, women with the big win, though.
Yeah.
Jenny B putting on for the city. So they were a 22.5-point dog in Austin, top 10 team, and Oklahoma goes in and rolls them. I mean, it was awesome. After that, and Oklahoma's been hot late. So maybe that's what they needed to really get some national attention, start moving up a little bit.
They're 6-1. Is that right?
So what?
In the Big 12.
Say it again.
6-1 in the Big 12.
Oh yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think. I think they have sole second in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, Jenny B's got those girls cooking. Go out and watch the women's games too. I mean, they're fun. I mean, I went to that doubleheader that we had where they played Cincinnati. Awesome time. Yeah. So, I mean, the new football players are going. All the students are going. Like, it's fun. If you're in town, it's a cheap thing to go do with the family. Just roll down there, check it out. But off we go to football.
Yeah, and just again, following up on what you said about NIL and moving into football, like I understand that we want to wake up in the morning and piss excellence, but a part of that is you have to be adaptable. Not only as a whole program, like the whole program has to be adaptable. Joe C has to, Brent Venables has to, all the way down through the staff, but so do the fans. Like, this is not 1980. You know what I mean? Like, programs are not just resting on their laurels anymore. That doesn't happen. Like, the last time I felt like we really saw that happen is just ended with Nick Saban. And the reason that people were going to Bama was because Nick Saban. Now, they've gotten a couple nice recruits the last few days, don't get me wrong, but you've seen a mass exodus, right? And they're still going to be good. But again, like, you think Alabama can just rest on, like, oh, we won 7 natties, like, in the last however many years, we'll be cool. People the fans are like, oh, we don't need him. I don't want to pay a kid just for him to leave, so I'm not going to do anything. They're not doing that. That's not their mentality, because they just love the University of Alabama, and they're going to do it regardless. Obviously, they have a winner. They have a certain standard, certainly, as we do. But we haven't even been close to that.
Right.
In so many years.
I
So
do
why are we
think
like, oh, I'm not going to pay this dude so he could just leave? It's a waste of my money. It's a waste of my tax. Like, come on, dog. Like, are you committed or are you not? And like, if you're in a financial situation, okay. Like, if you're gonna give a buck, okay, that's fine. Give a buck. Nobody's asking you to go out and whine on Twitter and be like, I don't have the money to do it. Why are they asking me for money? So then just don't do it. Like, you don't have to go
right.
on social media and whine about it. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, and OU's doing a lot of creative things. I had the opportunity to talk to Toby Baldwin pretty regularly these days now, doing some really creative stuff that I don't think any other schools are doing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they'll announce anything with it specifically, but I know of certain deals they're doing with kids that are very unique opportunities that have the opportunity to pay them long term.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. But I think Teddy brings up great points both on KREF and on the Oklahoma Breakdown when it comes to OU's approach.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody says, well, it's turning in the NFL. It's turning in the NFL. The NFL has contracts. If you go out and get a free agent and pay him a buttload of money and he comes, every other player on your roster is already under contract.
Yep.
When he comes and they see his deal, they can't go and renegotiate their deal or say, hey, I'm going to be a free agent now. Like that's really not how it works. Like you go perform, and then whenever you're up for a new contract, you get a new contract. Like Oklahoma's not going to get into a situation with like, I don't know, call it Terrence Ferguson, the old Alabama offensive lineman with the Florida State. Yeah. Say he wanted, this is not a number that I heard, but say he wanted $1 million. Well, if he makes $1 million, comes here, and say he plays at tackle or something, and if I'm Jake Sexton, I'm walking into BV's office and saying, "Where's my $1 million? I'm a starter on this team. I committed to this team out of high school. I would have started last year had it not been an injury, and then say Jake Sexton gets paid, right? Well, then you've got Andrel Anthony says, hey, look, I led the team in receiving before my injury last year. You have Nick Anderson saying, whoa, what are you paying? Deion Burke's going, no, I want, like, it's just not sustainable.
Right.
Like, you get into a situation where every single kid, and I don't want to make him seem greedy or anything like that. It's just natural. If you see a kid walk in and he's getting paid ridiculous amounts of money to play the position that you play at an equally or higher level than he does, like I would have some issues with that.
Right.
So I think they're being creative. I think they're doing what they need to do. As weird as it sounds, I think that basketball, baseball, it sounds weird. That's probably where that is where I'm putting some of my money.
Yeah.
Because baseball kids don't get full scholarships. Like they only have a certain amount of scholarships to give out. These kids are paying their own way to school. And we're talking about football players that are already on full scholarships and have the best situation of any student athlete on campus. And these baseball players aren't even getting their scholarships paid for, their books paid for, that kind of stuff. So basketball, the reason we were able to get, Rivaldo Soares, a starter, the reason that we're able to get Latrey Darthard, who was a starter, the reason we were able to get John Hughley, who was a starter, the reason we were able to get Jalen Moore, who was a starter, the reason we were able to get all these guys is through NIL. So keep it going.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And just continuing on that train and, talking about the portal really quick. Obviously, two of the bigger names right now in the market are the Hackett brothers from Washington. And, it seems like we're hearing from a lot of people that there's a good chance you could land them, and that's obviously the hope. Now, look, we're not gonna go on no, tour or nothing like that. But all I'm saying is if that happens, like I just don't need the ones who were tripping about Bill Beatonbow a few weeks ago just to not talk ever again.
It would be, and for those of you who are unfamiliar, Garen Hatchett and Landon Hatchett are from Washington. Washington won the Joe Moore Award last year. Older brother Garen, I believe, has 1 year of eligibility left. Landon, younger brother, has 4 years of eligibility left. Older brother has long flowing hair and a big beard. Younger brother, high and tight, baby face. You're not going to confuse them for each other. I know early on people couldn't tell the difference between Isaac and Drake. Will not be an issue with this team or with this duo if that's the case. But yeah, I mean, Beatonbow, this would be a massive pickup because these are guys that played for a Joe Moore offensive line, knows what that's like, knows what good coaching is like, and it's Bill Beatonbow finished second for Garen Hatchett in the first place, but he stayed home in Washington. So this is if this is a situation where we land the Hatchett brothers, this is absolutely a Bill Beatonbow did this thing. Like, it is not you dropped a bag to go get him, or these guys really like Riverwind Casino. They want to get their Keyshawn booty on and they want to gamble on themselves. Yeah. Like, that's not what this is. This would be a complete and total win. And like Topher says in the comment, Garen was looking between Oklahoma. He visited last weekend. He visited Oklahoma last weekend immediately after getting in the portal. And then the word was that Washington was trying really hard to keep him. And he was having conversations with Washington about keeping him. Well, today he says, "Thank you for everything, Washington. It's been real. Love you." So if you put 2 and 2 together, that is about as good of news as you can get if you're an OU fan.
Yeah.
Like, you got a guy that just visited your school, whose brother, who you're also recruiting, is at your school currently. Like right now. And while younger brother is on the visit and older brother is supposed to be talking to Washington about staying, and it's between you two, and he tells Washington, "I'm moving on. Thank you for everything." I mean, all signs point to Oklahoma right now. And I don't know of any other visits that he's taking. So we just need an announcement. Classes have started. The ad drop period is, I believe, tomorrow. Bless you. Is when you can, the deadline to drop classes or add classes. So, I mean, we're an SEC football program. We'll make it work. I mean, we'll make sure they're eligible. We'll make sure they're enrolled. SEC, baby. So, but no, it's a good pickup. But here's the thing: I keep talking about. I say it in the group chats I'm in. I said it on radio yesterday. If you add the Hatchett brothers, that's 2 more scholarships. We are either at, I've seen my buddy Randy did a great breakdown of it. He says we're currently in 91 scholarships. Parker says we're currently in 90 scholarships. But I haven't seen Parker's chart. I've seen Randy's chart.
Yeah.
So, regardless, if you add the Hatchett brothers, that is 2. So you get to either 92 or 93 scholarship players. You have to get to 85 at the start of fall camp. Yeah. So you have to pick 7 or 8 current Oklahoma Sooners to be processed off of the team, or to be convinced to give their scholarship up and take a PWO.
Yep.
That seems difficult.
Yep.
So people have to remember that with the portal. OU has been in a numbers crunch. Texas was not. Ohio State was not. When you have guys coming back, when you have Woody coming back, Billy coming back, Danny coming back, Dejon Terry coming back, Jacob Lacey coming back.
Yeah.
Like when you've got these dudes coming back, like you don't cycle them into the NFL draft and those scholarships don't open up. Which is good. We want all of our All-Americans back. Yes, please.
Yeah.
But it is very important to consider while you're, don't be out here on these Twitter streets saying, "Oh, we're not doing it in the portal. We need to do this in the portal." And then when in the spring, when you see some good young players, I'm sure, that will enter the portal, you can't say, "Oh, BV can't keep a team together." Like, it can't be both.
Right.
Can't be both. But
Yeah.
all in all, good news.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the inconsistency sometimes, and it's what we talk about all the time. It's what do you expect out of a social media platform where you give a lot of people a voice that don't understand. And going back to the NIL piece, like this is part of that too, right?
And also, don't name players that you don't want on scholarship next year.
Yeah.
Because
do not put that in the chat.
Because that's something that I feel like that's going to be where the conversation leads, and that's why I haven't put it out on Twitter. Is you're going to have to process like 7 or 8 dudes,
Yep.
And people are just going to be like, take away blah blah blah's scholarship, take away blah blah blah. This guy stinks. This kid like. And how would you feel if you're a kid seeing your name and OU fans want to get rid of you and you've done nothing wrong? Like, so
yeah,
just prepare for it. But Topher, how y'all feel about recruiting weekend coming up? It's going to be interesting because this cycle is going to be a lot different than last cycle and a lot different than the year before. We already have 9 commitments, and this will be a smaller class than the 2024 class, probably smaller than 2023. So if you're taking 21 kids, 22 kids, we took 27, and we've taken 27 so far in 2024. In the 2025 class, if you take 21, bro, you're almost halfway there. And the calendar, just turned.
Yeah.
These kids are still, juniors in high school. And they just started their second semester of their junior season or junior year in high school. And we've got almost half the class, potential class, in the boat. So, like these big recruiting events, like it's not going to be a situation where, all right, how many locks are you going to see, right? How many commitments are going to pop?
Yeah.
Because outside of like, obviously your top guys, like Jonah Williams is the crown jewel if you can get him in this class.
Yes.
Like that will be your highest. If you can get him, that will be your highest ranked player in the class. Deservedly so. I watched him play at OT7. The dude is a monster. He's a 2-sport athlete. I've been told by the baseball coaches that he's like Deion Sanders on the diamond.
Really?
Kid's a freaky athlete. He can do it all. He's top priority. Top priority.
Yeah.
I know we've got a 5-star wide receiver coming in. Is what it is. We've got a lot of wide receivers in the class already. We'll see if Emmett Jones can make that happen. If anybody can, it's him, but we'll see. But Jonah Williams, this is Jonah Williams weekend. It is not. Yeah, I almost don't want to even say it's a junior day. It is a Jonah day. Got to get him in the boat. So with that, Yeah, Caleb Cunningham is the 5-star wide receiver. If anybody can pull it off, it's Emmett. But, I mean, you've got Isaiah Mosey announcing before spring. You've got you've got other wide receivers. Emmett started filling up this class really early because the state of Oklahoma has good wide receiver talent, first of all. But, like, he's going to kind of have his pick.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, we'll see.
I mean, thank you. If you give me Fasusi and Jonah Williams in this class, and I don't care if we just take 11 kids, just add those two to what we got now. I don't care.
We sitting pretty.
God, but both those dudes are so good.
So,
I mean, 2025 should be a good class for Bill Bedenbaugh. You know, I hope it is. You know, but I got in this conversation whenever we missed out on Hurd. Should we just stop recruiting high school offensive linemen? And I asked that question, obviously tongue in cheek, but like we have 4-star Jake Taylor, 4-star Jake Sexton, 4-star, I believe he got into 4-star Josh Bates.
Yes.
Freshman All-American Troy Everett. Even Fabechi was a freshman All-American. Like Logan Howland is the only dude that doesn't come off the scout team. Looks good. Heath Ozida looks great. Keep in mind, he's young. He was a young enrollee. He's young for his grade.
Yeah, he was young.
We've recruited talented guys. You got EPL, who looks like he's putting up NFL workout numbers.
The dude is a beast.
He looks ready, right? I mean, Eugene Brooks is one of the most dominant players in the All-American games that we saw of any position. Daniel Akinkumi looks like he's a dude.
Yep.
Like, we've got all these guys, and people are like, if we don't get this random dude in the portal, then we're screwed on the offensive line. Like, do people forget how the Joe Moore Award offensive line came together at OU? Those dudes played when they were young. They got experience at OU.
Well, there wasn't a single 5-star on that offensive line either.
No, but those guys played together and they meshed. They had the continuity. They played together. They were brought together by an all-world center in Creed Humphrey. Don't get it twisted.
Yep.
But like those guys played young and they were able to make mistakes. And everybody says, well, we can't have those mistakes. Cost Jackson. Look, Jackson's going to hit the ground at some point this year. It's going to be okay. But that's the thing. It's with how some of the reactions are, I don't necessarily know what the answer is. You want guys with experience. Okay, well, if Jake Taylor would have gone to Miami of Ohio, he would have been starting the whole time. And then say he goes in the portal and we bring in Jake Taylor because he's got all this experience. It's the same dude that's been in Norman this entire time, learning from Bill Bedenbaugh in Schmitty's workout program. He's another workout warrior. That dude can lift. Yeah. But it's like we need to, I don't know, like it's an odd thing and it's an odd balance to say, okay, we need guys with some actual experience in the portal when we go to the SEC. Well, what are we going to do with all the talented kids that we've been recruiting for the last 3 years?
Yeah.
And that we're currently recruiting. Like freshmen that are going to show up on campus and are going to try and compete. So, God, I feel like I'm ranting at people today.
Hey,
I got to relax.
Sometimes it's what it takes. But, what you can rant at them about is what flavor of beef jerky you got this week.
I'll tell you what, maybe that's why I was ranting. It's because I was hungry. I was hungry. So, for those of you that are loyal to the channel, I've entered a partnership with righteousfelon.com. I had some of their beef jerky, and it was delicious. So I tweeted about it, and they came through and said, "Hey, we'll give you a discount code. Tweet it out. Send it to people who are interested in it. Blah blah." I said, "Cool. I'm going to throw it on the podcast too, and I'm going to eat a different flavor of jerky every week." So this week's righteousfelon.com jerky is the teriyaki Balboa. Tangy teriyaki with a punch of pepper. Teriyaki Balboa. I'll do it like that to get the horns down for everybody.
That's right.
But the teriyaki Balboa, check it out. Just go to righteousfelon.com and put in Travis. It's very simple, just Travis as the discount code, and you'll get 15% off. I think they do like free shipping on orders of $50 or more. What I like about it is a lot of jerky is like sugary. Like it's got that like almost like high fructose corn syrup type like layering on it. Not this. Look at that. Gorgeous. Gorgeous right there. So, pick yourself up some Righteous Felon beef jerky at righteousfelon.com. Promo code Travis gets you 15% off. And so far I think I've done the teriyaki Balboa. I've done the Bourbon Franklin. And then I did the habanero Escobar. This might be my favorite of those three so far.
Really?
This is delicious.
This is good.
This is delicious.
Isn't that their best seller?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's gluten-free, only 160 calories, 20 grams of protein. They also have biltong that doesn't have any sugar. And then they've got meat sticks and all kinds of stuff. I will be having every single one of their flavors on this channel in the coming weeks. So just stay locked in, follow us, like the channel. The jerky's good. I know the people in the chat have got some. So far, it's only Topher and Boomer in the chat.
I know.
Everybody else just laid back in the cut.
Laid back in the cut. A little light tonight. It's okay. Let's talk a little bit about OU's favorite son, Baker Mayfield, and the season that he had, and also just this narrative that has always just unfortunately has followed him around of like he's not able to be consistent, right? That's kind of narrative around Baker in his career, which you can say is fair. However, he's not had consistency ever. Even when he does good, he doesn't get consistency. Obviously, in Cleveland, he had an opportunity in that second year after he took them to the playoffs and won a game, but he got hurt. And so, like, while there's consistency there, he's playing through an injury. He didn't play that well that year. We know that. We know how that ended up. But then, every year before that and every year since then has just been constant chaos. And unfortunately, Dave Canales, who, did great things with Baker this year in Tampa, got, fortunately for him, but got hired as the head coach in Carolina. And so yet again, Baker is going to have to learn and talk about a new offense, which is not new for him at this point, but certainly
there can't be an offense that's new to him anymore.
Yeah.
He's ran every one of them. Unless they're bringing the triple option or the wishbone to Tampa Bay, Baker's run every offense that there can be.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But
obviously,
to your point,
you hope that he continues to, or the Tampa, if he's still in Tampa, that they get somebody that will try to work to his strengths, right? Go ahead. Jeff.
How funny would it be if Canales is like, look, I'm the head coach. I get to make the calls. We're trading Bryce Young. I'm bringing Baker back to Carolina.
Oh, my gosh. That would be
Could you
absolutely.
imagine? Could you imagine? Oh, that would be funny. And he's like, look, and I'm going to pay him 40 a year, 45 a year.
Mhm.
But no, with Baker, it's just his luck, man. Can't get any consistency. And I'm not saying that he would be Mahomes in the situation, but I mean, Patrick Mahomes ended up in the perfect place, the perfect situation. Sits behind a veteran for a year, doesn't have number one pick expectations hanging around his neck for his whole life, and gets with Andy Reid, who is a top 3 NFL head coach of all time. If you just take the offensive ones,
Yeah.
I mean, and he's had him his whole career. Same guy, consistent. Like, I can't imagine what Baker would be like with 6-7 years of just consistency
I'm saying.
with a really good coach. Could you imagine Hank beat me to it. Sean Payton, they had a cup of coffee together basically
Yeah.
before that Thursday night Rams game, and he went out there and won a game. Like, could you imagine if he was consistently with Sean McVay? I mean, and then we thought we had it with Canales, and off he goes.
It's just disappointing, but I think it speaks to who Baker is, his mentality, and why he's been so successful. It is why OU fans love him. It's why they defend him so much. And everybody always wants to say, why do y'all, I hate, I know they're trying to be trolls, but I hate when people race bait with that, with like, why do OU fans cheer for Baker and not for Kyler and not for Jalen? Why don't they stand up for C? And I'm like, first of all, like, do y'all not understand? Baker was here for 3-4 years, bro. Like,
Bro,
and
he grew up an OU fan. He's
yes,
the biggest OU cheerleader that exists. Like,
yes, like
that
he
is the dumbest race baiting I've ever that exists on the app as
so
far as OU stuff goes.
so dumb, and like even on top of that, nobody has faced the scrutiny in the NFL that Baker has. Like, and when Kyler started to get called a midget by some of the people out in Arizona, people stuck up for Kyler. But
Mhm.
If I'm not mistaken, Kyler's got a second contract, has he not?
He
Kyler
got
got a second
he got
contract.
broke off, man. He got paid.
Yeah, Kyler got paid. Like he was taken care of. Jalen Hurts is doing well in Philly. He was just in the Super Bowl. Like nobody's banging on him for no reason. Baker took a organization that had been just absolute crap to the playoffs for the first time in I think like 16, 17 years, and he won a game for the first time in like 26. And
And then he's got players' dads tweeting low light videos of him,
bruh,
like
bruh,
just
and
dealing with nonsense,
then
absolute
they leave him
nonsense.
for Deshaun, and then they're taking shots on him on the way out, saying he's not an adult. Like all this stuff that like is just taken out of context. Like everybody's like, "Oh, Baker's not a good enough quarterback to be in the league. He's proven he can't do this. He's proven he can't do that." We the time clock is ticking in Cleveland. Is it really? Like y'all haven't had a good quarterback in however long. People have been way more
Yeah, what's the
patient.
rush? What's
Yes.
the rush?
Like people have been way more patient than they were, and they haven't been, and that's
It's
why
like
they're
they're
one
trying
of
to change the
the
tires real quickly on a car that hasn't had an engine in it for 20 years. Where are you
yes,
going?
yes, and that's why they're a crap organization because they got their first playoff win. They decided it's not good enough for us. I understand everybody wants to win a Super Bowl, but I mean, are we for real right now? Like you're gonna kick to the curb and talk down on that guy? And now he's going and he's had success elsewhere. Yes, we're going to be loud about it because it's what we said the entire time. It's what we said the entire time that he was. We didn't say he was a top 3 guy. We didn't say he's top 5. We said when he has a good year, like when he has people around him, and really, he didn't have the best team. He had good receivers, but the O line was terrible. Worst run game. He played like a top 10 quarterback, and we said he's capable of that. And you can win with that. You can win a Super Bowl with that.
And like Cleveland media was actually pretty cool about it. Like they were happy for him.
Yeah.
The other players, like go back and look at, like just Google like Twitter reaction Baker Mayfield Rams or whatever. And dudes like LeBron,
Yeah.
like I don't know, like I think Brady maybe, like some massive names in sports
Yeah.
are like, yo, Baker's going crazy, like so happy for him. Like other athletes love Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Like simple as that. Like they love the dude. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers love the dude. The only people that don't are a bunch of salty 15-year-olds
Yep.
in Ohio and like 4 people in Cleveland. I mean, Texas fans, but they don't count.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 people in Carolina.
Yep. Yeah.
This is good.
Hey, you already know the teriyaki Balboa. That's what you need to get.
I'll tell you what, man. This is good.
Yeah, I hear you, Sean's 21. I'm one of those that doesn't mind the DeMar Hamlin thing. If you want it to be that type of thing, okay. Like I don't mind that. Like I get it. You know, some people are going to be how they are about that situation, especially if they want to try to get political about it, which is another story. But like the dude almost died last year on the field in front of everybody, and he's back here in playing football at all. Like that is worthy of a comeback story, whether you like it or not, whether you feel like he's making an impact or not. And I'm okay with that if you want to go with the emotional side. However, if we're going to go with the like factual side, like statistically and everything like that, Baker Mayfield should win the award. I don't want to hear anything about Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco came in for 5 games. Yes, he did very well. Don't get me wrong. But you can't play for 5 games and win comeback player of the year, in my opinion.
Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. It's like Joe Flacco never really like nobody tried to run him out of the league.
Yes.
Like he just aged out. Like not aged out, but you know what I mean. Like he went on that run in Baltimore, and it's like he wasn't. What is Joe Flacco coming back from really?
Yeah.
Like Baker is coming back from getting shipped from team to team, like $4 million deal, prove it deal, and then went out and proved it. Here's the thing. If he wins comeback player of the year, cool. I want him to get that comeback contract of the year.
Facts.
Pay my man like $35 million a year.
Listen.
Like $35 million a year, some light.
He needs to, and I believe he's going to, right? At some point, even if Tampa doesn't do it, I think he's going to. The last point I'll make about Joe Flacco, and then we can move on from that. Or obviously, if you have more to say on it, Trav, but like, yes, did he perform well? Did he help Cleveland win some games? Yeah, but his numbers, like 13 touchdowns to 8 interceptions.
Is
that good? Yes. Is that good though? 13 to 8, like that would be 26-16. We'd say that's okay. Like you said you probably say that's too high of a touchdown interception ratio. So like I didn't like how people were ignoring the fact that he threw a bunch of picks too.
Yeah.
You know,
Baker should get second.
I agree.
Baker probably should win it, but Baker will get second.
Yeah.
Oof the Skull says OG Hickory Truffalo. That's the Truffalo Bill. Barbecue are all good. And then Victorious BIG is really good.
Ooh.
They got some good names. Like I said, but this is Teriyaki Balboa.
That Teriyaki Rocky right there.
That's good. That's up there with another one. Maybe I'll have the other flavor next week. I don't know. Maybe I still got a favorite flavor. It's crazy, but we'll see. Maybe next week.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's talk. Do a little Q&A for those of you who are in here. We got like 10 minutes left or so we'll answer some questions. I know that we've answered some already. My guy Toph.
We did talk about Topher talked about up top. Fasusi not taking the Oregon visit is nice too.
Yes.
He will take a visit to Oregon at some point, but he's not taking that officially. He is taking another official to Oklahoma. You know, I know some people are reading into it. I'm not saying they should or that they shouldn't, really. I mean, but that he canceled the visit to Oregon and like 12 hours later puts up a picture with all the OU coaches in his house. It was just funny. Like that was his next tweet.
Yeah.
Like he tweeted, "I'm not going to Oregon next weekend," and then next picture was him with all the OU boys in his house. I like that. Fasusi, like I said, give me Fasusi, give me Jonah Williams, and it's a wrap.
Yeah.
There was some talk about maybe Jim Leonard getting the Green Bay defensive coordinator job, and if he did, then he would want Jay Valai. Jay Valai and Jim Leonard are best friends. Jay Valai would absolutely get a call. I'm not sure if Jay is wanting to move jobs again. He has moved a decent amount. He's got a good thing going at Oklahoma. He's recruiting well. He's enjoying recruiting with that brand. I think he's excited to go to the SEC. Would be hard to turn down the NFL, always is. But I do know that Oklahoma, or at least Brent Venables, was having conversations with one Mackenzie Alexander about joining the staff after he got out of the league. Mackenzie Alexander was drafted to Minnesota, the Vikings, out of Clemson. I'm told that BV still teaches with Mackenzie Alexander's Clemson film. So I just know that I'm not saying that Valai is leaving. That's not it. I'm not even suggesting that.
Not hinting at it.
But if Leonard gets that job, he will talk to Valai, and we'll see. But I know Mackenzie Alexander hasn't coached the position before, so that may not be the move. But Mackenzie Alexander, long-time NFL career, basically groin injury, kind of ended his possibilities at corner. Could have moved to safety maybe, but they're using his film anyways to teach the DBs. So might as well have the guy there, who's the guy in the film. So
Right.
I know they've talked as of October of last year, whenever I spoke with Mackenzie Alexander at the Omni during OU Texas weekend. Brent had said he should come down to that game.
Yeah.
Ancho Villa and Soul Survivor are my favorites, but all great. I haven't tried the Ancho Villa yet. That Soul Survivor, God, is good. It's like a Korean barbecue type.
Okay.
They're good with like the Asian type stuff, the teriyaki, the Korean.
Yeah. I'm a soul survivor, like Akon said.
That's right. Well, Jay Winslow, 3 years at $33.33 million per plus incentives. I mean, that's I believe what the franchise tag is at 33. So that's kind of where you start your negotiations if you're Baker. I mean, that's $100 million deal.
I like it.
That sounds a lot better than 4. So
9 more mil a year. Come on now.
I mean, that would be nice. And honestly, I feel like even like look at how this year went. I feel like if you're Baker, you throw a good amount of incentive in there. You say, hey, if I throw over 4,000 yards again, I should have been an agent. I actually talked about that. My folks can back me up on that. I would put so many incentives in these contracts because what's the downside? It's like, okay, I get paid an extra $5 million if I throw 50 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I throw 50 touchdowns, we're probably really good. Like, we'll probably win a lot of games.
Yes.
You're going to make that $5 million back in playoff ticket sales and playoff marketing and all that. Like, I would say if I'm first team all pro, I get an extra $10 million. Like, just crazy stuff like that, because it all ends up paying for itself. Like, so that's what I would do. It's like, look, Baker, if you're first team all pro, that owner better just pull out his checkbook and say, hey, here you go, buddy. Appreciate you making me 50 more million or 100 more million. Here's your 10.
Yeah. I just hope, I don't hope, I know OU Twitter, as soon as, whether it's from Schefter, who's the other one that normally breaks stuff, is Ari or whoever breaks it, that Baker gets this contract, whether it's from Tampa or if he ends up being somewhere else, somebody gonna pay him. I know that.
Oh, he's getting paid.
So
he's getting paid.
Yeah. I just can't wait.
And that's what I like about all these, like your Nick Wrights of the world and the Good Morning Football. They all agree too. They're like, not only has he earned it, but what are Tampa Bay's other options?
Yeah. Kyle Trask. Did you see that guy on Twitter? That's the
yeah.
Is he
Kyle Trask? It must be his cousin or something like that.
It gotta be. He said Kyle Trask is still objectively the better quarterback if you look at the film from preseason. All right, dog.
Yeah, all right. Guess he would have taken him to the NFC title.
I guess so.
I guess. But with Bake, everybody's like, gotta get paid. I mean, he's playing. Is he a top 10 guy? Yeah. I mean, a lot of them are saying no, but he's, maybe a top 15. I mean, there are, do the quick math, 17 teams without a top 15 quarterback right now that sure would love to have one. So, yeah, he's going to get paid, and it's going to be a great day. I think it's great timing. You saw old C.J. Stroud give money to the Ohio State Collective.
Yeah.
Well, CD is about to be one of the richest wide receivers in NFL history. Creed Humphrey is about to be one of the richest centers in NFL history, and Baker Mayfield's about to get broke off for $100 million. So, what great timing, right?
Man, great timing for OU. Tell you that much.
I mean, you're looking at over $250 million in contracts that are about to go out.
Yep.
To 3 dudes. $250 million. $3 dudes.
Bro,
you just carve off a little bit and we'll be fine. I would love for OU to not necessarily need to go to the portal to go drop a bag. Like, I don't want them to be like, hey, random left tackle, we'll pay you $2 million to come here. But I want the entirety of OU's athletic department to just all make really good money. Like, one of those situations where it's like, hey, if you get a scholarship to OU, yeah, that's great. But you're also going to be one of the highest paid, I don't know, free safety in the country. You know what I mean? And they just tier it out to be like, hey, if you're a freshman, you make this much as your NIL contract. Sophomore, you make this much. Junior, you make this much. Senior, you make this much. But I want to get that fun going like that, where it's like, look, everybody makes good money, but you got to be in good academic standing. You got to do community service, whatever. But get that funded, and then all those kids that come to OU, that'll make recruiting easier, and it'll maintain the locker room stability. It'll maintain the culture, everything like that. Say, as long as your grades are good, you're on scholarship, everything like that, you will be one of the highest paid college paid athletes, because that's what we do at OU.
Yeah.
With softball. Maybe I've got another little venture coming up. I should have more on it next week, but it is NIL related. and it's something that nobody knows about yet.
Really?
Yeah. So should be next week. But this one specifically has to do with baseball as they get ready for the season. So stay tuned.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we will stay tuned, Trav. Have to wait till next week. See what you got for us. Well,
All right.
we don't got any more questions. We'll looks like we'll get on out of here. We appreciate everybody that came tonight and who's rocking with us again. Apologize about last week and having to not be here, but we appreciate y'all's support anyway. Make sure that you go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you share the video as well. Thank you to everybody who also listens, not even just live, but after the fact as well. We have a large portion of our views that come after the fact too. So we appreciate you guys that are watching later. Make sure you like that video before you leave tonight and when you're watching it, this week or this weekend. And we'll see you next week. Trav, you got anything?
No, I just realized how stroby my projector is right now because I got music videos and whatnot going. And I just noticed it right then about how crazy it is. So I'm sorry if I've given anybody a seizure at any time during this viewing. That was not my intent. But Travis at righteousfelon.com, go get yourself some jerky, 15% off. Teriyaki Balboa is today's flavor, and it is awesome. It was very good. 20 grams of protein, gluten-free, only 160 calories. Love it. Love it. See you guys.
All right, y'all. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it. Hope you guys have a blessed week and weekend. Boomer.